Congratulations to Blue Scapegoats for winning the Protagonist Drawing Contest. Be sure to check out their Tumblr down below. It is linked in the description for some awesome fan art. Hello everybody, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 manga scale review, the Scale 18. Scale 18 actually came out on Monday. The English version came out on Monday. If you want to read it for yourself, I will link it down below, as I always do. I am joined, as I always am, by RarityFanGirl31 VA, so big thanks to her, as always, for coming on. If you're unaware of why we are doing this a little late, as you know, I usually put these out on Monday. It's because I had the Dark Side of Dimensions premiere Monday and Tuesday. The scale didn't come out early enough for us to record it, and then I had to deal with a family situation Wednesday and Thursday, which is the reason we are recording this Friday night, and you should be seeing it sometime around Saturday afternoon. So I really hope you guys enjoy. We had a really good scale, but before we get into our review, we do a question at the end of these, and so thank you to everyone who commented. I'll show all your comments down below, and the question was, who is going to win this duel? Akiba Reiji or Sakaki Yuya? It began in scale 15. It did indeed end this scale, scale 18, and I personally thought that Yuya was not going to win. That was my prediction, and it did come true, but my other main predictions was that Reiji was going to win or it was going to be a draw. As we know, it ends in a no result. The duel does not conclude, which, if I had to pick one negative, that's probably my negative for this chapter. Rarity said she pretty much called it spot on that this duel would not have a conclusion, and so have to give her props there, and she'll give her thoughts on the scale in just a couple of minutes. I'll just go over a quick brief overview. So the scale begins, Yuya overscale pendulums, and he kind of said that at the end of scale 17. We were unaware of what that meant. He basically was able to pendulum summoning with the scale being set at 0, and he summons Odd Eyes Phantasm Dragon, which is an awesome Odd Eyes. We only see the design for a couple of pages, but the design, I really liked it. It was really cool. Another manga exclusive Odd Eyes. There have already been quite a few, and we're only in like scale 18 out of probably 80 or 90 scales, you'd have to imagine. So we'll definitely get a few more, as we always seem to do in the mangas, exclusive Odd Eyes and exclusive monster cards. And so Yuya goes to attack, but Reiji says, well, overscale lot place, it's not going to matter because his attack is double your attack, so he has 6,000 attack. Odd Eyes Phantasm Dragon takes all the pendulum monsters in the graveyard, or in the extra deck, the graveyard, all the pendulum monsters all the pendulum cards, that are in the extra, or not the extra deck, in the graveyard, and there are 5, subtracts the attack by 5,000. The attack goes down to 1,000. Yuya's about to do damage. Reiji activates, I'm pretty sure it's a trap or an effect that is going to negate the damage, but before that happens, we see a clip of Ren and Eve, not a clip, but a page of Ren and Eve, who say, incredible, the Atom Factor is resonating within both of them. The Atom Factor was resonating between both of them, and so Yuya ends up talking about, that basically saying that his dad is innocent and all that stuff, and brief overview, you should read it yourself because there is a lot that goes on. I'm sure Rarity will give a better explanation than me, but Ren ends up coming in. The field is starting to get destroyed. Ren ends up coming in on a motorcycle and talks about Eve, and what's really cool is he refers to Eve as his mistress and said, Eve sent me, God is in the hands of my mistress, Lady Eve. I believe that's what he said. And so we basically knew that Ren was working for Eve and that Eve was kind of the head honcho, but it was never stated before. And so Ren formally states it. And so now we do know that Eve is the main antagonist, at least at this point. And so Ren greets Yuya properly. He greets Reiji properly, as he said that was his goal. And Yuto and Yuri are in the background, and they basically say that's the one who had Yugo up against a corner. Yugo, as we know, did end up winning, but Ren did a lot of damage to Yugo because we have not seen Yugo in a few scales now. So Yugo really sad. Yeah, I know, it makes all the fangirls sad, but Yugo is still recovering from that duel. And Ren just talks about our objective is to awaken God, and we need to steal the Atom Factor from you, Yuya, and you, Reiji. We'd imagine that you do that as you do everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! By beating them in a duel. We also, the Atom's Factor and Eve's Factor, those are the two things that need to come together to awaken God, to awaken Genesis Omega Dragon. And so in Eve's Factor is a thing, and that's something that I think Rarity will brag about a little later, because she kind of called that, and that is confirmed that Eve has her own factor and Eve has her own thing. The field starts to collapse. Ren ends up leaving. Reiji ends up leaving. Yuya is kind of sad, and he has a few panels where he's just kind of looking sad because I guess he still feels that, the duels, he's not as much Egao as he is in the anime, as I've said that before, but he still feels that duels are to bring kind of smiles in a way, not as in your face in the anime, but, so I think he's just depressed that this is all happening and that he was unable to get through to Reiji. And Reiji says, look, I know your intentions are good or whatever, but I'm not going to forget forget what you did to my father. I'm not going to forget what your father did to my father, so I'll take care of this situation on my own. He leaves. Shingo, Shun, and Yuzu all kind of leave together, and Shingo, I think, is like, we have to help Reiji, and Shun is like, oh, come on, Reiji's not going to die from something like this. Let's go. And it's just so true that Reiji is just that much of a badass. And so those three leave. Yuya end up leaving. And we see a scene where, basically the last scene, we see Yuya in the last panel, where Yuri and Yuto are just like, oh, he needs time to kind of gather his thoughts and stuff. And then we see Sora, and we see Sora in some kind of dream world, and we kind of get we get a new character. We get a new character here. So we have a character, Sora's sister, a manga exclusive character. I'll show a picture for here. Miu, or Miu, whatever you want to refer to her as. Obviously, sometimes these manga names are kind of, hard to say because we never hear them said in the anime because there's no anime. So a manga exclusive character named Miu, or Miu, and it is Sora's older sister, I believe, just because she looks a little... It doesn't say. It doesn't say. She looks taller.
I say
really,
because
she looks, to me, she looks taller than Sora, but I guess, okay, that's fair, that's fair. And Sora is a short kid. And so Sora basically says, I swear that I will create a world where I can be with you. So now we kind of have different motives here. Now Sora, maybe he was promised, similar to what Zone and 5Ds promised Sherry, that he could bring back her father. Maybe he was promised that her sister could come back if he helped revive Genesis Omega Dragon, maybe recreate a world. But if that's not the case, maybe Sora has alternative motives from Ren and Eve. That kind of remains to be seen, and that'll be very interesting. And so it basically ends with Ren confronting Sora and saying it finally begins, and the last slide, the real battle for God. That's what it says, and the last picture is of Eve holding a card, and we see the top of the card that says Genesis Omega Dragon, basically proving the truth that she does have Genesis Omega Dragon, in case we didn't want to take Ren's word for it. But Eve is in possession of God. They need the Adams Factor, which is in Reiji and Yuya. Altogether, a really enjoyable scale. Rarity, what are your thoughts on this scale 18?
This chapter was amazing. If you guys don't know, I'm going to be dubbing some of the Zexo manga next, but definitely after that, going back to Arc 5, guys. I'm going back to it. Probably sometime what's happening next, because I am back in it. I was interested, of course. I do these every month. Of course, I'm interested in the manga. But this Reiji and Yuya duel just wasn't something I think I wanted to adapt. Well, number one, it's super long. Number two, I just, but this is getting me back interested in the plot. But enough about me. I'm going to talk about what I liked. First off, I'm going to go chronologically, because that's what I usually do. The duel part, I figured Overskill Pendulum had something to do with ignoring the pendulum skills. And I kind of thought was really cool. Phantasma Dragon, amazing upgrade. This is what Odd Eye Saber Dragon should have been. Put that shame to that terrible card that was used against security. This is an Odd Eyes upgrade. Take notes, anime. Sorry, I just had to say that. So, I figured, I said the duel was going to be no conclusion, and I was right. Versus many things I was right about. And I'm gonna rub in Dylan's face in this review. I'm sorry, Dylan. I love you, but I'm just going to rub this in. I also said that Shingo, and Yuzu were gonna come in. I did, but they didn't intrude the duel as I thought they would. It was Ren. I wasn't expecting Ren, but I should have. Also, we now have confirmation that Reiji does have the Adam Factor. We all figured he did, but this chapter confirmed it, which is very, very, very nice. He also claims to have summoned the card that his father gave him, the giant claw thing. We didn't get to see what it actually was. And another thing I like that Reiji, he was like, because he was kind of helping Yuya, because he was like, oh, I know the purpose of this duel. You just wanted to lure the villains out. So it kind of shows how smart the manga characters are compared to the anime counterparts. Like, Yuya is so smart. And I love that about him. He's like a smart guy. It's not just like this naive little child. He has subtlety. He has maturity. Why can't the anime Yuya be like this? I'm sorry. The manga Yuya just kicks butt. I'm sorry. Which I just love that. Also, Ren coming in. I wanted Ren to call Eve mistress for the second she showed up, and I thought he was going to do it the first time we saw her before Skill translated it, and when it didn't, I was upset because I knew what this was. But the reason I really liked it is not because I also like when people call people by formal titles, and I like that he called her by two. It just tells them that, guys, the main villain is a girl, guys. You're fighting a girl, so don't, try to underestimate her just because she's a girl. I don't know, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Villains aren't usually female. I know Ira from Zexo Manga was a female, and Yubel doesn't have a gender, but I've always considered her a female. you know, like, big bad who's never really had a female. I just like that he completely confirmed, like, she's a girl, guys. You guys should totally just be scared. And E's factor, I called that the first discussion we have, Dylan, and I was right. I'm rubbing it in your face. Now, we don't know if Eve has it. It didn't exactly say, but I bet you she does. So, the fact that Yuya has Adam, if Eve isn't a future Yuzu, I don't know what she is. I feel like this kind of is more evidence towards that theory. Now, another interesting thing that I liked was that Ren mentioned that he'll be looking forward to dueling all of them, including Yugo, so he's obviously going to duel Yugo again, I don't think. Or maybe just all the Yus together, but I doubt he's not going to let the grudge of Yugo go. Definitely not. And Reiji flying away doing his own thing, kind of ditching his teammates right there. Shun and Shingo not gonna babysit Yuzu. The side characters have officially been sidelined, which I don't mind. I mean, I just don't think those guys are gonna duel now. I don't see Shun and Shingo dueling anytime soon. Yuzu, she's probably not gonna do it all anyway, so that's kind of good to sideline the characters that aren't as important to the plot, perfectly honest. And I kind of like that Reiji went to do his own thing, and that Yuya is kind of upset about it. I mean, that's Yuya for you. I just really like that. And on to Mew. I love this girl. She is adorable. I figured she was real, but I just didn't really, you know... We got an explanation as to why Sora had the photo in the first place. Because he said, I had a sick little sister, and as I played Sora in that arc, I know how faking emotion is very difficult, even for anyone. And the fact he was faking crying, something was fishy about it to me. That you can't really fake tears that easily, especially the ones Sora shed. So the fact that he actually manipulated his memories to infiltrate Leo Corporation, that's a legit spy. So when he lost, he woke up and his memories were seemingly restored. Which I really like that Sora's dedication to his work, that he'll do anything to save his sister. He said he was his sick little sister in scale 8, so that's why I'm thinking she is younger. And it kind of makes more sense that Sora will be fighting for his little sister. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Likes to do that with the big brother thing. I mean, so yeah, people want to compare him to Rua, who is, you know, the kid from 5Ds, you know, fighting for the little sister thing. I think, honestly, that's so cute that it's copying that plotline, because people compare him to Sora all the time because of the hairstyle. They both got those ponytails, so I think that's honestly very, very cool. I'm really happy. Also, this is the first time we've ever seen Sora with his hair down. I think it looks really, really cool. Which, a lot of people were comparing the bottom part to Ren's hair. So a lot of people in New York Credo are thinking that Ren is an older Sora. Now, I have 2 reasons why I think this isn't real. Number 1, wouldn't that create a time paradox to recruit the past version of yourself? And number 2, why would Sora give up fusion summoning for freaking cargoes and motorcycles? And why would he get that buff? It kind of doesn't make any sense to me. And the final thing I'd like to talk about is Eve herself. We also saw with the scientist, or doctor, whoever, taking care of Sora, they have a burn on their face. If you remember in the first time Ren showed up, he showed his glove. He had a burn on his arm. I guess if you're in Eve's group, you have a burn somewhere, part of this cult. Does Sora have a burn? I mean, he doesn't have his shirt on, so are we gonna see it next time? Are we gonna see Sora's burn? Will he get a burn? Just to be officially a part of this cult thing? I think that would be really cool. But the fact you have a Yu-Gi-Oh character with like a damaged face, that's a girl, I just find that super cool. That Eve is like this strong female character. I love this. This is great. I'm in love with this villain. And I'm happy that I'm playing her in my manga stuff, so I'm really, really excited. So this chapter was amazing. The plot, where to go from here, I think, well, that's actually part of the questions where I think the plot's going to go for our viewer question, but it's just going to be interesting. I think next chapter, this is a quick little guess, we're gonna get Sora, maybe a little more backstory on Sora, like how he joined Ren and Eve's group, or Ren's backstory, because I could see them two having a conversation, or Eve just coming in addressing Sora, which would be nice to see how he acts in front of her. Maybe, I don't know if he's as loyal to Eve as Ren seems to be, because, let me tell you this right now, the fact he called her mistress and lady, people are gonna ship Ren and Eve. There's something romantic going on there, or something close. That's just me, that's the way I know how shonen works. That's just me. But I also think we're gonna see Yugo next time. I want the U-boys waking him up. Can we please have a scene? And then, like, poking him on the D-wheel? Like, come on, Yugo, wake up. Plot's happening. Come on, wake up. Can we please have that? He's been out for 5 chapters. I need to see my baby. I know he got his, like, he's the only U besides Yuya to have a solo win. But come on, I want to see him again. I think it's time to get him back in this plot. Especially because he was name dropped this chapter. Especially because once he hears that Ren showed up again, he's gonna be all over that, right? He's gonna be like, oh god, because he said, I would never let him get away. And he just got away. While you were sleeping. Sorry, Yugo. But yeah, I love this chapter. It's Arc 5's manga is cooking better and better. We're still with that great pacing that Yoshida's been doing. We're left with a lot of questions, but a lot of new answers. And I feel like the anime, especially what's going on right now, the anime right now, as if you've seen the summary for 141, is a mess. Even though we don't know what that completely is yet till probably when this goes up, because, well, the cast has confirmed some theories, just theories about 141, but I just love the manga. It's not exactly, I'd say, straightforward, but it's, like, you know, a lot more comprehensive, and it's paced better. Like, you can tell that everything's leading up to something, and I just can't wait to see where this goes. But I've rambled on for long enough, so do you have anything else you want to say, Dylan, before we go to the question?
All I want to do, I always like to kind of put this into perspective and do it like an out of 10 style, so I just want you to rank this scale right now out of 10, because I know you like the scale a lot.
I don't like giving things perfect scores till, like, you know, like, I've seen what it can lead to in hindsight. That's kind of just, like, like a manga like this, so I'm giving it a 9.5. I didn't have a problem with the duel not finishing, because I figured that's what was gonna happen anyway. And I'd rather have a really good Reiji and Yuya duel later on, or a tag team or something. That's just me, though. That's all my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. Yeah, I have said it before. I don't believe anything is perfect. I don't believe there's ever been a perfect arc or a perfect show or a perfect duel or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't like to give 10 out of 10s either. And, you know, I just had the issue, and I've always, and people who have watched my channel for a while now know that I always have issues when duels end in no results. But the thing is, looking back in hindsight, my rating for this it was an 8.5 out of 10. That's what I'd give it. And it might improve if Reiji and Yuya do duel again, because there's no guarantee that they will. I think they will, and I hope they will. But if they don't, then this is just kind of, again, leaving a result to be desired. Yoshida has done a really good job so far, and I think that Yuya and Reiji will, and hopefully will, duel again, and if that happens, then this scale probably, looking back in hindsight, will be like a 9 out of 10 for me. But really good scale. Definitely check it out, guys, and definitely comment your thoughts below after you read it, things that you liked, things you didn't like, rate it out of 10, and hopefully you comment your answer to this question as well. Rarity, if you would like to give the question, as always.
Alright, so, as you know, Yoshida also wrote the Zexo manga, and if you remember, it was around chapter 21 when Koji Aguma was first revealed, right? And then after that, while Koji was getting introduced, he didn't actually duel for a while because he was setting these little assassins, which were like one-off manga characters that had numbers, obviously, for the characters to fight, where Koji was getting his plans in set. Considering it's the same writer, I feel like now would be a good opportunity to do that again. So my question to you guys is, if Yoshida goes the Zexo manga route and has Eve send a bunch of assassins, at least 2 or 3 I'd say, for Yuya and Reiji, who do you think they will be and why? This can be characters from the manga exclusive, these can be like new characters, or these could be characters from the anime. Alright, Dylan, what is your answer?
I'm going to assume that because it's just too tough for me to predict manga exclusive characters. Most likely, I feel like Yoshida will use manga exclusive characters if he did a route like this, similar to Zexal. But just for fun's sake, I'm going to use anime characters. And the 2 that came to my mind right away were characters. There were really 3 that came to my mind right away, but the 2 that really stood out. The first one was Barrett, and I know I've talked about Barrett a little bit. Someone actually tweeted to me on Twitter and was like, dude, you're really in love with that guy, but I don't think I talk about him that much. It just baffles me that he's just kind of gone AWOL in the anime. But I think they might use Barrett. I could see being this tough henchman, because that's exactly what he is in the anime, so I could see him, and I could just see him being in the manga for some reason. I could see him, and I could see Kachidoki, someone who's also had a rivalry with Yuya. The other character that kind of came to my mind was Dennis, because of the similar reasons for Barrett. But if I picked 2, I would pick Kachidoki and Barrett. But my number 1 pick would be manga exclusive. If they're not going to be manga exclusive, those would be my top 2 choices.
Alright, as for me, I'm just gonna go with a route that, because we have 3 central summoning methods, Eve's gonna send an assassin for each one. For fusion, I say it's gonna be Kachidoki. I think that would be really cool just to see Kachidoki punch Yuya in the manga. Like, what if he fought someone like Yugo on the motorcycle? Where he's just running away? I don't know, I find that oddly hilarious. Plus they kind of be going this theme where like the fusion users has versus the fusion user and blah blah blah. Second, I would really love to see for a synchro guy, Shinji. He's like the only, like, I guess, like, negative synchro user, because usually in the manga they don't change the personalities too much, from what I've noticed. So I can't see Gon Gensaka working for the villain. I can't see it. Like, how can you make Gon Gensaka the most honorable guy evil? And enjoy Chojuro. you're not going to make him evil either. And you're like, oh, but what about Roger? I'm like, Roger doesn't use synchro. He uses fusion. And I doubt they bring in ancient gears because that is such a tie to academia. So I don't think they do that either. So I say Shinji. I mean, this is about changing the world. Revolution! Like, this makes perfect sense. For me, in my logic, anyway.
Yeah, that is a good pick.
And as for Xyz, you should know my answer by my little sponsor. It's gonna be Dennis, which I could see him having pendulum cards and maybe like him lying to Yuya if he does work for you, like saying, "Oh, I know your dad. I was your dad's pupil." Like, and that would get Yuya like super entrapped, right? Because like he's like desperate for his dad. We've seen this. He's been talking about his dad. He's desperate for his father. And that would be the perfect way to lure Yuya into a trap. Because if you remember in the Zexo manga, spoilers if you haven't read it, Koji lure Kaito and Haruto out of the building because the number war started, and he kidnapped Haruto and used him to basically get Kaito on his side. In a way. I'm not gonna say how for spoilers, but that's what he did. And that's like I guess you can't really kidnap someone with Yuya's because he doesn't seem to care about Yuzu, but you know, like saying you're my dad, I can lead you to my dad is the perfect trap for Yuya. I could see him being a little bit naive and gullible to believe him, and I doubt he'd listen to the other U-boys. Like, guys, you shouldn't trust this guy. I don't trust him. If Yuri said that, that'd be funny, because Yuri worked with Dennis. I didn't think that would be funny, but those are just my three I'd really like to see. A lot of people were also saying they like to see Tsukikage, but I don't see him being a villain. Mieru, I don't see being a villain. Perfectly honest, but those would be cool as well to see like a ritual person, but I just don't see it being in here. But yeah, that's my opinion. I can't wait to hear you guys' responses in the comments to see who you guys would like to see. A lot of people were also saying, what if the bracelet girls were the assassins? I'm like, I don't think if they're the manga, they give them that small of a role. And by this point, guys, I don't think they're in the manga at all. They just don't seem to fit. With Eve, I don't see it. Sorry, guys. I would love to see them, too, like a U-boy versus their bracelet girl duel. Because, like, we never got Yuri and Saren on the anime. So it'd be cool to get that, because we did get Yuto and Ruri, kinda. We did get Yuga versus Rin, so I would love to see that, but that's not gonna happen, guys, unfortunately. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong, and I'm sure Dylan would love to be proven wrong, too. Like, we love the Bracelet Girls. I love my Rin. I've said it, she's one of my favorite female Yu-Gi-Oh character. But still, that is my thoughts. But yeah, comment down below, guys. I'm excited to hear what you guys say.
Yeah, no, I hope you are wrong. You've been right a lot of the time, but I hope you're wrong about the Bracelet Girls, because I really do want to see them in the manga. But yeah, I just don't know at this point, because we're not really that late, but we're almost like a third of the way through, assuming there's 9 volumes like there usually is. But yeah, guys, comment your thoughts down below. That pretty much is going to wrap up this video. I'm going to let RarityFanGirl give her shameless plug, as I always let people do at the end of these videos. So Rarity, tell them what your channel is about, and definitely check her out. I'll leave all of her stuff down below in the description.
Thank you, Dylan. Because there's about 7,000 of you who have joined Dylan's channel since the last time I was on here who don't know me. Probably, unless you do watch my stuff. Hello, my name is RarityFanGirl. I am a voice actor. I am also a manga dubber. I dubbed the Arc 5 manga. I have completed chapters 7 through 10, which is the Sora Vs Yuya arc. A new video for me about the manga, a short scene we're dubbing from Scale 13. If you've read Scale 13 and you know me well enough, you should know what scene that is. Not saying what it is, but you should know if you know me very well about who I like and things of that nature. That's all I'm gonna say. So that will be coming out hopefully next week. And I'm also going to be dubbing the Zexo manga, chapters 35 to 36. Casting call for us out open now, so you guys can audition if you guys want. I am also a voice actor on Arc 5 Abridged, because I can finally say that in public now. Yes, I am the voice of Sam in Arc 5 Abridged, and I hopefully will be able to contribute more to that project, so you guys can see me in that show. Hopefully their channel will come back. It's gonna come back because of the copyright YouTube brawl, so you can also see them on VidMe if you want to see all the episodes right now. So if you guys are interested in that, but I'm excited to the more manga dubs. Like I said, I'm probably going to go back to dubbing Arc 5 after this. There's also a lot of mini things, because I know the English volume for Volume 1 is coming out in April. And there is a scene that's exclusive to that volume that a lot of people have been requesting me. And I know my VAs are up for it, so we're going to do it probably, which I know you guys will love that one, because that's a fun little thing. If you've seen what it is, you will thank me for it. But that's my plug. I also have a Twitter now, because thanks to Dylan, he got me into Twitter, which I've been happy how nice the community has been to me for only not even being a month on Twitter. So you guys are very, very nice. I appreciate it. I also have a Tumblr where I do a lot of fun stuff, Flower Crown edits, rants. I post bloopers for the manga stuff, a lot of other random stuff, so just follow me on those things if you guys want to see more from me. And I will be back next month for Scale 19! Woo! And stay happy and healthy, guys! I keep forgetting to do that all the end of my introductions. That must be a thing, because that is my catchphrase that Dylan tries to impersonate, and it doesn't work.
Stay happy and healthy, you guys.
It doesn't work!
I
You didn't
do
go right! It's fine!
I think I do it pretty well. All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support, as always. Please read the scale down below. Please check out Rarity. Thank you to Rarity for coming on, and thank you to you guys for watching and sitting through 25 minutes of us rambling about the manga scales, as we like to do every month. So, until next time, I hope you have an amazing day, and thank you for watching.